Twerk your fast ass, girl, you bound back that. I know you back that, you like to get to back. Yeah. Twerk your fast ass, girl, you bound back that. I know you back that, you like to get to back.
Hey everybody, hello, welcome. Listen, y'all saw the title of the video. This is the Am I the A-hole Reddit stories, okay? I've decided to I'm slowly trying to work to bring these back. So obviously we have Am I the A-hole Reddit stories. The title of this video is, I think my wife cheated after a joke was made, now I need a paternity test. Okay, so we're going to be talking about paternity and the paternity test. Hello, Sodeb. Hello, cousin. Hello. Yes, we're going to talk about paternity tests. I got a couple stories for y'all, and then I'm going to head up out of here. Also, as a reminder, game night, whatever we're calling it, is Dreamgirls this week. So that'll be set up for 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2:15 Eastern, and I think it's like 11:15 Pacific. I do well enough to know those three. I don't know nothing else. Oh, welcome. Listen, before we get into it, I'm live every Monday for Married to Medicine. That is around like maybe 11:30 Central Standard Time, AM. And then I'm also live again on Mondays for a live watch along of Monday Night Raw, which is on Netflix. I'm watching it at home while live, and y'all can watch along too, and we can have conversations in the chat about it. But I figure it was the best way for me to get my thoughts out about it while also enjoying it. And that is those two are every Monday. I will be live this Saturday for Saturday night's main event, which is at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be live for that. And then I'll be live again on Sunday for Dreamgirls Trivia at 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be ready. So you ain't got to stay ready. And then I got to get these General Hospital recap reviews out. And then I'm going to just be working on a lot of stuff for the channel. We no longer do Real Housewives of Potomac recap reviews over here anymore. We do Sisters, but we're caught up. So y'all will get that review after Wednesday. But other than that, good things are happening. Hello. We got snow, almost a week or two ago, and we got like 10.2 inches, but that was like 2 weeks ago when we got snow. Now it's just really like freezing. And if y'all ask me how long I've been up, I've only been up for maybe 3 hours, because that's how cold it is. And my thing is, whenever it gets really cold, no matter if the house is cold or it's cold weather and that's kind of seeping into the house, I get really, really sleepy. So I've just been sleeping. But it's 14 now. It feels like 3 degrees outside. The lowest that it's possibly going to get by the end of the night, they are saying, is -7. So we'll see. Like, it'll climb, like, the temperature will eventually climb back up. But come next Thursday, oh yeah, I saw the snow. Your sister told me I could take my weather back, and it's just like, no. I was snowed in once. I don't want to be snowed in again. So we're going to see what it's giving. At this point in time, because it's too much. The weather is just doing a lot. But yes, yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. It's the only day I recognize. Shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. If you didn't know, now you know. And if you didn't watch Our Friend Martin, a lot of people got it on YouTube. If you are a teacher and y'all ain't showing Our Friend Martin, you could do that for a movie day, I guess. But it was also on YouTube, and I did watch it, so I did appreciate it. Live every Monday. Gotta repeat this. Live every Monday for Married to Medicine and Monday Night Raw. Fridays I do SmackDown coverage of Friday Night SmackDown on my YouTube Shorts. I will be making a playlist for all of that. Saturdays, my Saturdays are free, which typically means I'm either working on something, I'm trying to, for the channel, working on my photography, or taking a personal day. And then Sundays are designated for game days, but we're gonna see what it gives this week for Dreamgirls, so be ready for that. Be prepared. I'm giving y'all a whole week to prepare. Well, for the full week, I'm giving y'all a lot of time to prepare for this. And then this Saturday I'll be live on this channel for Saturday night's main event. So be looking out for that. As long as they cancel work, I'm cool. Oh yeah, snow, freeze, ice, cold weather, they're gonna cancel something. But with that being said, we are in here. We are here. Let's get into these stories. Now y'all know how this goes. I'm gonna read the stories. I might stop and give my little 1-2 about it. And then y'all could also be talking back to me in the chat about what y'all think so far. Am I the a-hole for Am I the a-hole for insulting my husband after he asked for a paternity test and suggested I cheated? I, 25-year-old female, just had my first child with my husband, 29-year-old male. They've been together for 4 years. He is white and I'm mixed race, but very white passing. I was raised by my adoptive parents. However, I have reconnected with my biological paternal family. My biological mother was white and I look a lot like her. My biological father was from whom I call my tata is an Inuit, and we look very much alike. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. We're getting closer emotionally. I'm gonna have to look this up. When I don't know something, I have to look it up. Oh, okay. Indigenous. Okay. Indigenous. Her paternal father is indigenous. And we look very much alike, but we're getting closer emotionally. My son looks so much like my tata, and I cried when I saw him for the first time. He was darker skinned than my husband, but has my husband's eyes and nose. And after he was born, my husband was cold and distant. He wouldn't hold our son. He wouldn't show me affection. Even when my tata came over and I took a bunch of pictures of grandfather and grandson, my husband refused to connect with our son. He did. Well, listen, I don't think people realize what genetics is or how genetics works. You could be the most white passing person in your family, and your baby come out looking like one of your family members. Have all the features of, you and your husband or you and your partner, but come out looking exactly like your mother, your father, somebody else. Genetics is really a toss-up when you decide to mix people, like when you decide to have children. It's truly a toss-up of who them children are going to look like. Your kid could look exactly like you, exactly like your partner, or exactly like a long-distant relative that y'all ain't never met, but still be your kid. Y'all just gotta know genetics are definitely a toss-up. This ain't like you get to pick and choose what your kid's going to look like. That child gonna look like however they gonna look like. It's weird that, you decide to be distant from your kid. Like, you had no doubts in the beginning, but okay. He demanded a paternity test a few weeks ago. I was upset but complied. He is the father, as I knew he was. I told him that I was a prime example of not looking like my biological father and that I felt he was an idiot for suggesting I was cheating. He shot back, well, how do I know the man you bring around is actually your dad and not your affair partner? Yes, he insinuated I lied about my tata being my dad and that I'm sleeping with. Oh, that's nasty. Did you ever think to get to know the man, welcome into your home, actually speak to? That is disgusting. Why would somebody bring an older gentleman around and say, this is my father, my biological father, but really be sleeping with them? Who does that? Maybe somebody in his family does that. I regret saying it, but I had promised to leave it behind. But I said, well, then say hello to Sarah for me. Sarah's the woman my husband had an affair with 2 years ago. He broke it off and we were reconciled. But I feel like it was rich of him to accuse me of cheating when he was the one who cheated in the first place. Oh, okay. This makes sense. This makes sense now. He feels like since he cheated on you and had an affair with some, 304 down at his job, that you are going to turn around and do the same thing to him and possibly try to pin a baby on him when in reality, you're not that type of person from what it's given. Oh, well, he needs to go to therapy. Or he just don't need to be married. If that's what your mindset is going to be for your entire marriage, no matter how many people, depending on who gets brought around, family members, co-workers, friends, babies are had, if you're still going to think that your wife is cheating on you because you cheated on her and you think somebody's going to get you back for that, you crazy into the Betsy bug. He called me an a-hole for bringing it up, and now we're not speaking. I've moved into the nursery. I'm considering divorce, but I'm also thinking about my words, which were hurtful and uncalled for. Am I the a-hole? No. No. I have to rephrase this. He thinks you were cheating on him because he's still cheating on you. No. I would listen. I would say, ooh, yeah, divorce, but y'all got a kid involved, so y'all got to figure that out. But he's thinking you're cheating on him because he's still cheating on you. Your words were hurtful. You saying then how Sarah, that's hurtful. Him being reminded that he cheated is hurtful. Baby, that's being a hypocrite. It's being a hypocrite. Like, you bringing up Sarah is worse than him insinuating that your baby is your father's baby and that your father isn't actually your father but someone you're having an affair with. Be so for real right now. And okay, so you're saying you found your father, like your biological father, through 23andMe 4 years ago after your wedding, so he's definitely your dad. So he knew this and still let that ish come out his mouth. Oh, Lord, get rid of this man. Get rid of this man. Hey, Kimmy, hello, hello, hello. Get rid of the man. He's still cheating on you. I want you to know that. This man is still cheating on you because why would you assume after your wife did a 23andMe after y'all wedded and found out who her biological parents were that she would be cheating with her biological father? That's weird. That's suspicious. That's nasty and disgusting. You get upset because the baby is a darker hue, as in the melanin in the skin tone, than you and your wife, even though your wife is biracial, her biological father is indigenous, and you are of Caucasity. You feel like that's not your baby, but y'all do a paternity test and oop, it's your baby. Now you get upset with her because you trying to insinuate that she's cheating and she throws up into your face. How are you going to talk about me cheating, especially with my biological father, which that's disgusting, when you cheated on her with somebody from your work and you talk about that's the most hurtful thing anybody's ever said to you? Obviously not. You must be still sleeping with Sarah down to the job for you to just say things like that to your wife. Ma'am, you are not the a-hole. You'd have moved into the nursery. You're considering divorce, and I support that. I support it wholeheartedly. Moving on. Am I the a-hole for getting a paternity test on my son who doesn't look like me? I'm a 29-year-old white guy. My wife is 30 and black. We have 2 kids, a 3-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy. My wife got pregnant with our son early in our relationship. We had only been together a year. We got married because she got pregnant. Fortunately for us, we are actually happy. I mean, sometimes that never works out, but good for y'all. When my son was born, I accepted him as mine. However, I couldn't help noticing how little he looked like me. He's noticeably darker than my wife. He doesn't look half white, and my family and friends have asked if I'm sure he's mine. I had doubts, but I initially decided to trust my wife and love my son regardless. So here's the thing, because here's another instance of genetics. Y'all do know biracial children, no matter who the parent in this situation is, who is the opposite ethnic background than you, is going to be a toss-up. Y'all think biracial children have to be these picture perfect ideas of what you think biracial children are. Light hair, light eyes, light skin, and hair more than likely a really fine, silky texture, when in reality, that is not how that works. Genetics. Word of the day, genetics. What plays into this? Genetics. What is always going to be a toss-up when you decide to procreate with another person? Genetics. Your children may not come out looking like you. They quite possibly might take everything from the other parent or from family members of past, present, and future. Who knows? Who knows? But since your family is in your ear and you feel like you already had doubts, you should have had a paternity test sooner so your wife could have just been done with this entire situation. When our son was 2, my wife had our daughter. I had no doubt she was mine. She looked just like me. She even has my blue eyes. I never realized how powerful it is to know a child is yours. I bonded with her easier because she wasn't the question of paternity dangling over our heads. My family bonded with her faster too. Her resemblance to me convinced me that my son is not mine. So, once again, genetics. Every kid, every parent that knows, your kid could come out looking like they other parent and nothing of you whatsoever, and they be pissed off because it's like, for the mother, I carried you for 9 months, and you come out looking like this one. Oh no, ma'am. What is this? What is this? What's going on? No, sir. I don't like this. Genetics. I don't get why people don't understand genetics. Y'all didn't want to be close to the sun. Y'all felt like the sun was too dark. That's what y'all felt like that sun was too dark skinned. That's why y'all didn't want to be close to him. I tried to always treat them equally as I see both of them as my children, but I realized I was beginning to resent my son. It felt unfair that I had to care for someone else's child. I also began to resent my wife because I felt she betrayed me. I finally got a paternity test in secret, and I was relieved to learn that my son is in fact mine. So let me get this straight. You started to resent your son and your wife. Your son for no other reason than you have in your deluded mind convinced yourself that you weren't his father with the help of your family and your friends, and you've decided to resent your wife because you felt like she cheated on you. And instead of actually sitting down and having a conversation with her about it and taking whatever she was going to give you, you went and had a private paternity test done on your son. Only for it to tell you exactly what your wife knew all along and what I knew all along from this entire thing, that that was your kid. Hi, Patches. Hello, hello, hello. Like, seriously? Oh my God. Genetics. 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 Okay? They weird AF. They always doing something crazy. When you decide to procreate with somebody, you just like it's a toss up of what's about to happen. Truly. Truly. Ugh. Idiots. Useless idiots, this man. Useless. I got a paternity test in secret. I was relieved to learn that my son is in fact mine. Oh, okay. Genetics are weird. Anyways, that was 4 months ago, and my relationship with my wife and my son have improved dramatically. Huh? Who would have thunk that you decided to let those delusions go? And when you got picture perfect proof, you're like, oh, well, everything's fine. Until years down the line, your wife asks you a question, or your son asks you, why did you treat me wrong? Or why did you treat me differently during this time? It felt like you resented me because obviously you don't know what that does to people. And when they start to question you, I want to somebody get me a picture of what this man looked like so I can see his face when he starts to get questioned. I feel much closer to him now that I know he's mine. My wife and I have been so happy that we're talking about a third child. Uh, let's hope you think this child is yours too. I confessed to my wife I got a paternity test. I hated keeping that secret and thought she would understand given how much she doesn't look like me. She flipped out. She asked me if I ever doubted our daughter, and when I said no, she called me a racist. It's not true. I didn't prefer my daughter because of her whiter features. I just knew she was mine. She also said that I made our son feel unloved for no reason for all these years. I said that's bull, but even when I didn't believe my son was mine, I treated him as though he were. My wife says she wants to move out and take our children after the quarantine. Oh, baby, this was happening during quarantine. I too would leave you. Truly, I too would pack up the kids, pack up everything, and leave your ragged ass. Because why didn't you just have a paternity test done when he was born? You felt like he wasn't yours when he was born. You should have asked the hospital for that and kept it pushing. Could have saved you a lot of time, a lot of space, a lot of energy. But you also pointed out specifically in this entire thing that you felt like he wasn't yours because he was darker than your wife. But now that you know he's yours, you come to understand that genetics are weird AF and they're going to just do whatever they want to do when you decide to procreate with another person. But now you felt like, oh, well, I'm not racist and you shouldn't be upset with me. And I don't prefer our daughter's features. You do. You said that. Oh my God. Ugh. It's been about a week and a half and I'm still on the sofa. I hope she would calm down by now, but things haven't changed. She's just so furious with me for not trusting her for... Sorry, it's cold. I told you, I get sleepy. She's furious with me for not trusting her and for... Oh, and in her eyes, denying my son because he's dark. So basically, she barely talks to me unless it's about kids. I don't want to lose my family. Here's where I turn to Reddit. Is it so awful that I had doubts? I still took care of him. I don't understand why something like this is wrecking my marriage. I think she's overreacting. So am I the a-hole? Yes. She's not overreacting. You didn't trust your wife. You let your ignorance, your ignorance and your delusions that were already playing in the back of your mind come to the forefront, and it had you treating your wife and your son completely differently than your daughter. You also allowed your family and your friends with their prejudice and their stereotype come in and boost your head up even more. You said yourself, you started to resent your son and your wife. Somebody said it perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna just read this because somebody said it perfectly for me. You are the a-hole. She's absolutely not overreacting. You only did not trust your wife. You let your ignorance get in the way of you bonding with your child, which he did. I mean, what did you think was going to happen when you had biracial children? It's not always perfect mocha mixture of both parents. You may get that. You may get a kid who is white as a vampire, as dark as Wesley Snipes. You really need to suck it up and beg for forgiveness, and then you need to fix that ignorant way of thinking that you have. Your son is going to need you. Being a black man in the world is not easy. What did you think? So, okay, somebody else pointed out the contradictions. You said she told you made your son feel unloved, and you still took care of him. You treated him as though he was yours. But you started to resent your son at some point in time and felt like it was unfair you had to take care of someone else's child, and you resented your wife. You didn't treat them equally. You spent 5 years not thinking your son was yours. You did a lot of damage that I doubt you could come back from. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But sir, you are the a-hole. Keep it pushing. Don't ask Reddit no more questions because that was a dumbass question. Mm. Genetics. Genetics. Uh, One more time, genetics. For everybody out there in the world who don't understand genetics, don't understand what it does, don't understand what it is, if you don't go Google it and figure it out, because I'm not about to explain it to you. Genetics has people like, I know I look like my mama and my sister. We all look alike in some way, shape, or form. I understand that. I see that. Other people feel like I look like my father. I don't see it whatsoever. I don't. But me, my mom, and my sister, oh yeah, you can tell we're related. Moving on. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I told you so and laughing at me when we got the paternity test results? I don't know. Let's see. I, 27-year-old female, have been married. My husband, 28-year-old male, they've been married for 2 years. She's 27, he's 28. And I gave birth to our daughter 5 weeks ago. I'll try to keep it short so I don't waste your time with the irrelevant details. What happened was that our daughter came out with blonde hair and pale blue eyes, while my husband and I have brown hair and brown eyes. My husband freaked out at this and refused to listen to my explanation that sometimes babies are born with lighter hair and lighter eyes, and they get darker over time, which is true. He demanded a paternity test and threatened to divorce me if I didn't comply. So I did. Oh, we threatening people, huh? I still divorced him after this. After my daughter and I got home from the hospital, my husband went to stay at his parents' house for the first 3 weeks to get some space from me. While I recovered, wow, so you're missing out on bonding, you're missing out on helping your wife as she's going through this, like something very traumatic, as in giving birth, because that's the closest a woman's going to get to death. Oh, wow. Terrible, terrible. Garbage. While I recovered, he told them that he told them what was happening. My mother-in-law called to inform me that if the paternity test revealed that the child wasn't his, she would do everything within her power to make sure that I was taken to the cleaners during the divorce. So, yo, dumbass mother-in-law, because she is a dumbass. She don't understand what happens with all of this. Boils down to genetics, and y'all are some idiots. Even the people, useless idiots. Even the people who have had children, y'all do. I don't even have kids, and I know for a fact that people say when your kid is born, they may come out looking like this, but over time, hair color is going to change, eye color is going to change. They start to grow, and form bones, and all that stuff. All that stuff happen. Oh my god, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Just dumb. We're gonna take you to the cleaners, girl. You better hope she don't take your son to the cleaners. That's what you better hope. Sitting up here getting in between stuff where you should be a neutral party. Girl, bye. I had my sister to lean on to help me take care of the baby during this time. You should have had your husband, but your husband's a dummy. We got the results back yesterday. My husband came home to view them with me. I was on the couch in the living room, so he sat next to me and started to read the results. They showed that he was the father, and my husband had this shocked, kind of mortified look on his face with his eyes wide as he stared at it. As he should, because he's an idiot. I couldn't help but say, I told you so, and started laughing at the way he looked. My husband snapped out of his shock and got mad at me for laughing at him. We argued a bit, which was mainly him yelling at me before my sister came downstairs and my husband shut up. Why is he yelling at you? Listen, I would have laughed and said, I told you so, and laughed and been packing up his stuff. You got to go. If you think that child might not be yours, I'm not saying be sneaky, but if I guess this is what y'all gonna do when you see the babies at the hospital and feel like that's not your kid, get a paternity test right then and there and be done with it. Get your blood test ran. Be done with it. You missed out on quality bonding moments with your baby because you felt like that was not your child, and then proceeded to tell your wife if she wasn't, you were going to divorce her. No, not even wasn't. If she didn't get a paternity test, you were going to divorce her. You went to stay at your parents, and your dumbass mama called your wife to tell her if the baby wasn't yours, that y'all would take her to the cleaners in a divorce. Child, please. And then after you get told, I told you so, and get laughed at in your face, because that's funny. That's the best joke anybody ever told in my life. Okay, you want to yell at somebody and got shut down when the sister came downstairs. Pathetic. Just pathetic. After that, my husband went back to his parents' house to clear his head. And 2-3 hours later, my mother-in-law called to scold me about laughing in my husband's face because apparently I was kicking him while he was down. It ain't kicking him while he was down. The wife was down. She just got out the hospital. Her hormones are still raging. Postpartum and depression is still very much a thing that can happen. She no longer shares a body with her baby anymore. That child is on the outside, not getting any sleep, late night feedings, late night diaper changes, and a person that she declared her life to, who said, for better or for worse, till death do them apart, who y'all decide to go half in on a baby, ain't even here because he decided to fuck off somewhere because he thinks the child isn't his because she came out with light hair and light eyes, even though everything can change. Be something for real right now. Genetics is a thing. Tiger, you're kicking him while he was down. That's not kicking him while he was down. I didn't see somebody get kicked while they was down. That was just her saying, I told you so. And the mother-in-law, she needs to stay her ass out the y'all business. She in the know. She in the mix too much. She also left a couple nasty texts essentially saying the same thing this morning. I don't think I'm an a-hole, and I like the outsider perspective on this. Not the a-hole in my opinion. My husband and I both have dark hair and dark eyes. Our child equals blonde and blue eyes. Yeah, thank you. Somebody said, so the husband has never heard of recessive genes. Must have skipped biology. You learn that in biology. That's just the basics. Man, F your husband, F your mother-in-law. Girl, if you don't get the hell away from these people, congratulations on the baby, though. Abandoned you postpartum. Abandoned you. 3 weeks postpartum, leaving you to care for a newborn, y'all's newborn, while still healing. All because he never learned how biology works. Yo, useless idiot, yo husband, or hopefully soon to be ex-husband. I don't wish divorce on nobody. But baby, listen, that I told you so while laughing in his face, chalk that up to hormones. Cause she's like, she could have did something else, my guy. She could have did something else. Oh, baby, she divorcing him. Oh, okay, she's divorcing this man. She says, I'll start this post off by saying thank you for all the advice and the support I was given. You all giving me the firm kick in the ass to divorce my ex. Also, sorry for leaving you on the lurch for the past 2 months. All right, here's the update. After making my post, I decided to search for a divorce lawyer in my area with my sister. It took a while, but I managed to find and meet with the one who was willing to do virtual consultations. Okay. During this, my ex was not contacting me at all, but I did reach out to see if he was okay. Eventually, once he actually got served, my ex came back to our house and tried to plead with me not to go through with the divorce. He said he loved me more than anyone and that we can go to couples therapy. During this, my ex slipped up and admitted to cheating on me when he first left me. He said that he got caught up with his coworker when trying to explain his week-long absence. Oh, he's garbage. At first, I didn't realize who he was talking about because he referred to her by a nickname. But my brain kicked into gear and asked if getting caught up with her was code word for, slept with her. My husband stumbled over his words and tried to dodge the question, but he seemed to realize that I wasn't going to let up pretty quickly. He admitted to going to her for emotional support before our baby. Oh, you see this? This changes it. That's not because of the recessive genes. It's not because he skipped biology. He over here cheating on his wife. And to make himself feel better, that's not my baby. Because you got to be cheating on me too. Since I'm cheating on you emotionally so far, you got to be cheating on me too. This makes sense now. Or he's still useless and an idiot and skipped biology. 2 things can be right at the same time. Or 3 things. He admitted to going to her for emotional support before our baby was born since he was nervous about being a dad and eventually screwing her during the time he left. So you guys were right about him cheating. I had heard enough at that point and told my ex point blank we were getting a divorce. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I wanted 50-50 custody. We'd only be speaking about the divorce custody arrangements and our daughter herself after this. My ex nodded to what I was saying and asked if he could see our daughter. I was a bit hesitant but said yes. He called my sister to have her bring our daughter down to the living room. My ex held our daughter and talked to the baby for a bit before leaving. My sister asked me if I was all right after he was gone, and I told her I was okay. My mother-in-law did try to harass me over the phone about divorcing my ex, but by then I had already blocked her, so she went to my sister instead. I guess my mother-in-law was never told I own my house my ex and I previously shared, since she texted my sister saying I was going to be on the streets. Well, my mother-in-law most certainly knows that now, since my ex is now living with her and moving with her after he moved out. My ex has seen our daughter a few times. Those visits are awkward to say the least, but I managed. Hopefully, I won't have to give you guys more updates about this. Girl, he's a scumbag. Scum to earth. And his mama, listen. His mama is awful. That right there should have told you not to marry that man because she's awful. Terrible. Garbage. That right there should have told you not to marry that man. But moving on. You're not the a-hole. His mama and him is. And for the last one of the night, am I the a-hole for getting upset after my husband asked for a paternity test? My husband, 30-year-old male, and our 27-year-old female, recently welcomed our baby boy just a few months ago. Adjusting to life with a newborn has been challenging, but until recently, I had no reason to think he was unhappy or suspected anything. 2 days ago, out of the blue, he asked for a paternity test. He insisted he He insisted it wasn't because he suspected me of cheating, that he only wanted a peace of mind, mentioning how he'd hate to unknowingly raise a child who might not be his. I was heartbroken. To me, asking for a paternity test feels like an accusation of infidelity, even though he kept insisting that it wasn't the case. But during the conversation, he even brought up little incidents that supposedly fueled his doubts, which only added to my hurt and confusion. Overwhelmed in tears, I ended up shouting at him and leaving to calm down. The next day, I couldn't bring myself to talk to him, and last night, he confronted me about the silent treatment, and we ended up in another heated argument. Since then, we haven't spoken. Today, I'm at a complete loss. I love him deeply. I don't want our marriage to unravel, especially now that the baby is involved. This is the first time we've had conflict like this, and I'm struggling to make it make sense. Trying to make sense of it all. So, am I the a hole for reacting the way I did? Is there something I'm missing? Ma'am, these men are awful. So here's the update. We talked. I finally agreed to the paternity test. He also handed over his phone on my request, as some suggested, and so far I haven't found any signs of infidelity on his part. He also said that he sincerely doesn't believe I've been unfaithful, but still hasn't explained why he wants a test. I'm still really hurt, and he doesn't seem to trust me, but I hope the results put his mind at ease and we can get behind this. Girl, I'ma just say it because the people are saying it. He he did all that, and you said he handed over the phone, no problems, no issues. And you know what? That's a great thing. No problems, no issues. But he still might be cheating on you. He legit still might be cheating on you. He legit still might be cheating on you. Obviously, people don't understand how genetics work. But he didn't say anything about genetics. He just has it in his mind. So he either might be cheating on you, or he might have a past experience where somebody told him that a baby was his and he found out later that the baby wasn't, and he got attached to the kid. Maybe it's trauma. I don't know. But I don't trust this situation. Paternity in itself is a mess, especially when y'all ask for paternity tests. And since Maury is no longer on and nobody's going on a show to get their paternity test done, or Steve Wilkos or any other show like that, I mean, there is paternity court, but I doubt that people are doing it. Y'all got to go down to the Reddit to ask these questions. But with that being said, hope you figure it out. Truly hope you figure it out. Feel bad for you, truly do. Yeah, ask up front. Don't wait months after. Get it done in the hospital. Do something like that. Because at the end of the day gotta end. And even when that day ends, y'all still gonna be messy as hell. But thank you for everybody who stopped in. That was it for this. We'll be back, I believe, probably next Tuesday for another Am I the A-hole? And it'll probably be something even crazier than paternity. I'm live every Monday for Married to Medicine and also Monday Night Raw. I'll be live this Saturday for Saturday night's main event and every other Saturday night's main event after. And Sundays are for game day. It is going to be Dreamgirls this week. The live is already set up, so go check that out and be waiting on it. And I will be getting more recap reviews out to y'all. And with that being said, that was it. That was all. I don't have more to give y'all. Hit those links in the description box down below, and I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.